Hello friends, here we are discussing different concepts related to education, which helps pupil teacher in their preparation for many academic and entrance examination. Welcome to Vibrant Classroom.
Hello friends, this is Vikram Sama. Today we discuss about a very important concept of educational psychology. So previously we already discussed about the concept of psychology, different types of psychology, as well as the concept of educational psychology. So here we discuss in this class a very important part of educational psychology, that is growth and development. So generally these two words are very synonymous with each other, and we are interchangeably use the word growth and development. But if we think in a proper manner, or if we found the actual meaning of growth and development, then we found there are differences, a lot of differences. So here in this class we discuss the concept of growth, the concept of development, and also the similarities and differences of growth and development. And at last we discuss the concept of principles of different developmental process. So these knowledges helps to the B.Ed student or other education related subject or student to enhance their psychological knowledge or to know different concept related to educational psychology. So let us start the concept of growth and development. So here the concept of growth and development is there. That is, most people use the term growth and development interchangeably. I already told you, and accept them synonymous. But in reality, if we think in a real manner, then we found the meaning of these two words are different in different cases. So let us start and let us know about the different concept of growth and development. So first thing is growth. Growth refers to the physical increase in some quantity over time. That means physical increase in over time. So in a particular time period, there are found some physical changes. It includes changes in terms of height, weight, body proportion, and general physical appearances. Okay, so at the childhood or before childhood, at infancy stage, the child look different, but when it grows in a time period, then we found there are different type of changes are there in their physical condition. So Horlock, at that time, Horlock defined growth as change in size, in proportion, disappearance of old features. Some old features are disappeared from the individuals, and some new things are gained by the individuals, acquisition of new ones. Similarly, according to Crow and Crow, growth refers to the structural and physiological changes. Remember, structural and physiological changes, the changes which are found in physical conditions or physical processes, and also it leads towards a structural changes. Thus, growth refers to an increase in physical size of whole or any of its part. In a whole process, it should be changes. So we found different changes, or also we found changes in some part only, and can be measured. The most important thing, that is measured. Growth is a measurable concept. Okay, measurable concept. Due to that, we consider growth is a quantitative process. Understand, or you must remember the concept. Growth always a quantitative process. Quantitative process. Growth always a quantitative process. That means it quantify a number. If we measure the height of some individuals, then we also provide a numerical value like 5 feet 6 inch, 4 feet 11 inch, like this. So these values are a numerical value. That's why growth is a concept of quantitative process. So here growth is measurable and growth is a quantitative process, and generally growth are found in physical aspect. Then come to the next part, that is development. Development refers to the qualitative changes in the organism. In an organism, if we found some qualitative changes, okay, then we consider that concept is come under development. And development is a continuous process. Remember, development is a continuous process, but growth, okay, growth is a time bounded process over a time. That means that is a time bounded process. That means in a particular time your growth will be stopped. Okay, that means generally we consider at the stage of, if you consider development of brain, okay, the growth of brain, the concept for the growth of brain, if we consider growth of brain, then we found that total the fullest development of brain will be stopped at the age of 16 to 20 years. Okay, but a development is not a time bounded process, that is a continuous process through which physical, emotional, intellectual changes occur. It is more wider than and comprehensive term than the growth. Okay, so here we consider growth is a subset of development or is a part of development. It is also possible without growth. Okay, without growth, sometimes we found there are a lot of development are also worked out. That means after a particular age, when growth will be stopped, after that we also found there are a lot of developmental processes are occur within us or within individuals. So here development is a continuous and gradual process according to Skinner. According to Crow and Crow, development is concerned with growth as well as those changes in behavior which result from environmental situation. Okay, due to effect of a lot of things which are present in our surrounding, generally we consider these are the environment. Okay, the influence of environment lead towards a different type of development within the individuals. Thus, development is a process of change in growth and capability over time due to functions of both maturation and interaction with the environment. So, development, it is a continuous process and it gradually changes due to maturation as well as interaction with the environment. When we face new things in our surrounding, then we learn a lot of things. Okay, so after learning, we found there are a lot of changes within us. That is the concept of development. So development is a continuous process. Remember, that is a qualitative process. Remember, that is a continuous process. The most two important point, and it starts from mother's womb and end at tomb. Okay, it starts from mother's womb and ends at tomb. Okay, clear to all. Then come to the next. Then here are some comparison between growth and development. So growth refers to physiological changes. That means the changes which are occur at our physical conditions. Okay, but development refers overall changes within the individuals. It involves changes in an orderly and coherent type towards the goal of maturity. Towards the goal of maturity, we found there are different type of changes are occur in our physical condition, our mental condition, our emotionality. So there are different psychological aspects are there in an overall period of time or lead towards the maturation. We found there are different type of changes are there. So changes in a quantitative respect, it term as a growth. Similarly, here development changes in a quality along with the quantity. Okay, so as we know, development is a subset. We consider here growth is a subset of development. Without growth, development process will be continued. Due to that, here we consider as growth is a quantitative process, but development is both qualitative and quantitative process. Growth does not continue throughout the life. Remember, growth does not continue throughout the life. That means in a particular age your growth will be stopped. That means you become a fully physically mature individual, not other aspect. Okay, only in a mature physically individual we consider at that time growth will be stopped. Due to that we consider growth is not a continuous process. Similarly, development is continuous throughout the life. In our previous sliding we already discussed development starts from mother's womb and ends at tomb. Okay, so here another thing, that is growth stops after maturation. When an individual got mature, okay, after that there was no concept of growth within the individual, but development is progressive. That means in every day you found new things in your life, you gain experiences from these new things, and you found there are different type of development are of course. Okay, so growth occurs due to the manipulation of multiplication of cells. Okay, due to, as you know, growth is a biological process. We also here termed as growth is a biological process. Okay, due to that it concerns with the multiplication of cells. Okay, but development occurs due to both maturation and interaction with the environment. Okay, development, that is the process which effect from the maturation and as well as the concept of environment. Okay, the next thing is growth is cellular. As we know, that is concept of multiplication of cell. Due to that we consider here growth is a cellular concept. Similarly, development is an organizational. That means it also the concept of cellular concept as well as the environment where we live, our society, our nature, our school or other institutions which are found in our society, everything provide a great impact on the process of development. Okay, so development is one of the part of the developmental process. Development is a wider and comprehensive term. Due to that we consider growth is a subset of development. Okay, the next, growth may be refers to describe the changes in particular aspect. Particularly in some aspect we found changes of the body and behavior of the organism in only few or some aspect. But in case of development, it describes the changes in the organism as a whole. Growth, that is a partly concept, but development, that is a whole concept. It concerns with whole concept or whole processes of an individual, but here growth is a partly concept in concern with individual. The changes produced by the growth are subject of measurement. As we already discussed, growth is a quantitative process and all the quantitative process are measured and it also found a numerical value. Sorry. Development brings qualitative changes which are difficult to measure directly and they are assessed through knee observation of the behavior in different situations. Okay, as we know, growth is a qualitative process, so quality cannot be measured in a numerical value, so it should be assessed by the help of proper observation of different behavior and in different situations. Okay, then the last point, that is growth may or may not bring development. Sometimes growth brings some development and sometimes we also found growth do not lead towards any developmental process. Okay, but development is possible without growth. Okay, so let us assume our personality. Okay, personality that should be developed in time to time, that is not a concept of growth. Okay, without growth we can develop our personality. So personality, that is another concept which do not need any type of concept of growth. Okay, so growth and development, these two things are different in nature, in different aspect. Clear to all? Okay, come to the next part, that is principles of human development. What are the principles of human development? That is a very important concept because all the things after that class, all the psychological concept is very closely related to these principles. So carefully listen all the concept. Okay, and if you have any type of problem, then you can write comment in our comment box. Okay, so come to the part. Developmental psychologists believe that knowledge of an accurate pattern of development is fundamental to an understanding of children. There are several basic principles that characterize the pattern and process of growth and development. Different type of principles are there. These principles describe typical development as a practicable and orderly process. Practicable and orderly process. Then now come to what are the processes, what are the principles behind the human development. The first principle, that is development is continuous. Already we discussed about that particular concept. Development is a continuous process. The process of growth and development continues from the conception till the individual reach maturity. Development, both the physical and mental traits, continues gradually until these traits reach their maximum growth. Okay, maximum growth. That means that is the stage. After that stage, there was no possibility of growth. Okay, it goes on continuously throughout life. Even after maturity has been attained, development does not end. Okay, growth ends at the time of maturity, but development does not end at the time of maturity. After maturity, we also learn a lot of things, and we found there are different type of developments, of course, within the individuals. Clear to all? Due to that, here we consider development is a continuous process. Then come to the next point, that is principle of spiral versus linear advancement. Okay, so if we consider the concept of linear development, that means that is a straight line. Okay, but psychologists believe development is not a linear process. Okay, that means that should not be in a proper manner, that should not be gradually increase or decrease manner. Okay, due to that, psychologists believe growth is not a linear development. The child does not proceed straight or linear on the path of development. Okay, linear or straight path of the development at any stage. At any stage takes place at a constant or steady pace. After the child had developed to a certain level, there is likely to be a period of rest. That means here you look, that is the starting point of both growth and development. Okay, in the process of development, here is a point where there was a condition of consolidation. Okay, there is a condition of consolidation. That means here an individual takes some rest. Again, after that, individual bounce back and leads towards another developmental process. Similarly, again here also there is a consolidation stage, and here an individual takes some rest. Due to that, we found there was a spiralical process are there occur. Due to that, here we consider development is a spiral process. We also consider. After the child had developed to a certain level, there is likely to be a period of rest for consolidation of the developmental progress achieved till then. In advancing further, therefore, the development turns back, then move forward again in a spiral pattern. Clear concept? Growth is not a linear advancement. Growth is a spiral advancement. Clear? Generally in different teacher education entrance test, okay, we found that type of questions are arise. So remember, growth is a spiral process or advancement. Then next to the next part, that is development is sequential. Most psychologists agreed that development is sequential or orderly. That means after one, then another developmental process are started. Okay, due to that, here we consider development is a sequential or orderly process. every species, whether animals or humans, follow a pattern of development peculiar to it. This pattern is general, is the sum for all individuals. The child crawls before he creeps, yes, stands before he walks, and babies before he bubbles before he talk. Okay, so there was a proper hierarchical process or structure are there for the development. Due to that, here you consider growth is a development is a sequential process. Okay. Then next to the third principle of development, that is rate of development varies person to person. As we know, we all are different in different aspects. That is the concept of individual differences. So in our next class we discuss about, or in our next session we discuss about the individual differences. So individual differences, that is a concept. Here all the individuals are different in different concepts. That means some individuals are found different in their physical conditions, some are found in their mental conditions, some are found in their emotional structures. So in different aspects, psychological aspect, we found some differences are there. Even if identical twins are also different in different aspects. So rate of development is not uniform. That means that is not equal in every individuals who are present in our earth. So individual differ in the rate of growth and development. Boys and girls have also different developmental rates. Generally, we found girl childs are we found the rapid development or rapid growth of girl child than the boys one. Okay, but after some sort of period, we found there was a gradual development of boys than the girls. Each part of the boy has its own particular rate of growth. There are periods of great intensity and equilibrium, and there are periods of imbalance. Okay, so here that is a concept of imbalance because there was no uniformity among the all individuals. Then come to the next part. Development proceeds from general to specific. Another concept, that is general to specific. Development proceeds from general to specific. In all areas of development, general activities always precede to specific activities. Okay, that means in our life we do a lot of general activities, and generally these activities are related to our experiences, and after doing all these activities we get a new concept that is called specific activities. Now come to the example. For example, the fetus moves its whole body into a incapable of making specific response. With respect to emotional behavior, infants approaching strange and unusual objects with some sorts of greater fear response. So in a time process, okay, we gain new knowledges. Okay, that means in our psychological theory we discuss all about things in a detailed manner, but only just in a few words. That is, if a child, okay, if a child touch a lantern, okay, then the child feel that lantern is hot, okay, and after doing one or two times in a general process, he get a specific knowledge, or he remember a specific knowledge, that is, if we touch a lantern, then it is we feel, but that individual, but that child feel warm. That concept should be concretized within the individual. So that is a specific concept. So development leads towards an individual to the general process to the specific process. Okay. Then come to the next part. That is, most traits are correlated in the development. Different human beings have different psychological, emotional, social, different type of traits, physical, and all these traits are very closely related to the developmental process. So generally it seems that the child whose mental development is above average, the child whose mental development is above average, it also superior in so many other aspects like health, sociability, spatial attitude. Okay, so these are the different other psychological concepts. Okay, but if an individual have found sound and good mental development, and that should be in a above average manner, then we found different psychological concepts are also correlated with the mental development process. Due to that, we consider most traits are correlated in development. Okay, then come to the next part, that is growth and development is a product of both heredity and environment. Okay, so here two factors are very influence on the process of growth and development. What are these? These two things are heredity and development. That is heredity, that is biological, or also we consider that is genetic, and another thing that is environment, that is our surrounding. Okay, in our surrounding we found a lot of things like our nature, society, then different organization of society, family, okay, etc. So there are a lot of things which are present in our surrounding. We consider these things are our environment, and the impact of both the heredity and environment is greater, okay, in process of growth and development. Development is influenced by both heredity and environment. Both are responsible for human growth and development. Okay, that means if an individual do not have a good environment, then that individual do not develop in a full extent. Okay, but if an individual get a proper or a conducive environment, then automatically that individual growth and development occurs in a perfect manner. Okay, so here both the heredity and environment have a influence on growth and development. Okay, then next to the then come to the next part, that is development is predictable. Okay, growth is not predictable concept. We cannot predict or that individual have that height, okay, in future. We cannot predict that concept, but we can predict the developmental concepts. The difference in physiological and psychological potentialities can be predicted by observation and psychological test. Okay, that means there are different psychological tests are there, standardized test, these tests are there, which helps to individual or to more knowledgeable individuals, generally teachers, to predict, okay, what things are occur at in that individual's future. The future, in future, which type of developments are occur, which type of knowledges that individual gain, all these things we found in future. Then come to the next part, that is principle of association of maturation and learning. Principles of association of maturation and learning. That means here development is also influenced by the help of maturation and process of learning. Biological growth and development are known as maturation. Biological changes involves changes in the brain and the nervous system, which provide new abilities to the child. But a development proceeds from the simple to complex. You remember, development is a complex concept. Okay, development is a complex concept and it proceeds from the simple to complex. In the beginning, a child learns through the concrete objects and gradually moves to the abstract thinking. For example, the subjects which are present in our elementary stage, okay, that means at primary stage, that is class 1 to 5, okay, here generally the subjects which are very related to the daily life, okay, and if we talk about class 6 to class 8, these are also daily life activities, okay, daily life related to daily life activity. But when we come to the secondary stage, that means IX2 onwards, we found the subjects which are present in our curriculum, these are some sorts of abstraction, the concept of abstraction. Like in class 9 or 10, we found there was a mathematical concept, that is mensuration, trigonometry. Okay, trigonometry, can we use the concept of trigonometry in our daily life situation? No. Okay, but trigonometry that helps to the individual for their higher education process. In a higher education process, trigonometry is a very important thing. Or if we learn physics, chemistry, or other science subjects, trigonometry poses a vital role. Due to that, we learn trigonometry at the secondary level. Okay, but the trigonometry have no use in our daily life situation. Due to that, that concept is also come under abstract concept. So in the beginning, a child learns through concrete objects and gradually moves to the abstract thinking. This transition happens because of the maturation. That concept, the thing, proceeds from simple to complex. That is only due to maturations. Okay. So come to the next point, that is, there is a constant interaction between all factors of development. Development is one area is highly related to the development of other areas. That means if we found some developmental processes are occur in some sorts of area of a body or area of a mental aspect, then we found other part is also developed as well. For example, a child who has a good health can be active socially and intellectually. If a child has good health, there is no disease, there is no anxiety or any emotional disorder. Okay, an individual and a child have a good healthy condition. At that time, we found that individual also active in a social process and also that individual active in intellectual process. So there is a constant interaction between all the factors of development. Now, that is the end of different principles of development. Now come to the next part, that is causes of development. Maturation and learning. Maturation and learning are the two causes of development. Remember, maturation and learning are the two causes of development. Both interact with each other. Maturation provides raw materials for learning and determine a large extent the general pattern of behavior, while learning depends mostly on the activities of the individual afterward. That means in every moment we learn different things. Okay, so in the process of learning, there was a role of there was an important role of maturation. Okay, because maturation helps the individual to learn new things, and also maturation develop the capability of the individual in learning process. So first thing is maturation. Maturation means unfolding the traits potentially present in the individual, resulting from his heredity, endowment, development of the physical and mental trait of an individual comes partly from an intrinsic maturation. Of intrinsic, that is inner maturation. Okay, inner maturation of those traits, and partly from the exercise and experiences of the individual part. Okay, so here we found maturation that comes from the heredity and endowment, and it leads towards the physical and mental trait, development of physical and mental trait of an individual, and partly come from the intrinsic maturity also. Externally maturity that also occur at that stage. Similarly, at that time, we also found some intrinsic maturation also occur within the individual. Okay. So another causes of development, that is learning. The second cause of learning is the second cause of development is learning, which result from the activities of the child after birth. After birth, we as an individual do a lot of things or a lot of activities. Okay. In the process of doing these activities, we learn different things, and we consider these are our experiences. And experiences are stored in our memory, and at the time when we want to use these experiences, we only recall these things. Okay. So these activities of the individual brings changes in physical structure and behavioral of the individual. These are acquired behavior. These are called acquired behavior. In the process of learning, the things which we learn, okay, and that learning process also help in the process of development of the individual. Okay. So here we discuss the concept of growth and development, and the differences between growth and development, and also the principles, important principles of development, and at last we discuss the concept of growth and development, from where we found the growth and development are occur. Okay, the causes of growth and development. Now another thing, that is stages. Remember, stages of development. Stages of development. In different book, you found different type of concepts are there in concern with age. So generally, in a general process, we found there are 5 stages of life. Okay, the first one is just after birth, that is infancy. Okay, we consider that is birth to 2 years. The second thing is the second concept, that is childhood. After infancy, the next stage, that is childhood. And generally we consider the childhood starts from 3 years to 12 years. And again, childhood classified into 2 parts, that is early childhood and late childhood. Okay, early childhood and late childhood. Early childhood starts from 3 years to 6 years, and late childhood starts from 7 years to 12 years. Okay, then the next stage of our life, that is third stage, we also consider, that is adolescence. Okay, adolescence, that starts from age 13 and ends at age 18, 19, like this. Then after adolescence, the next stage, that is fourth one, that is adulthood. That is starts from 20 years to 60 years. That is adulthood stage. And the last stage, that is old age. That is the retirement age also we consider, that is the retirement age, that is 62 onwards. Okay, so these are the different stages of our life, and in our educational process we only focus the 2 stages, that is childhood and adolescence, and apart these 2 stages we mostly focus the late childhood process and adolescence process. Okay, so in our next class we discuss about the different development or different changes in concern with physical, mental, emotional, social. Okay, so stay together, and we in our next class we discuss about the next concept. Thank you.